Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today on my menu, I'm having some catfish and plantain today. So I'm heading over to my local seafood market to go get some catfish, and that's what I'm making for today. So stay tuned for the rest of the recipe. So for our fresh ingredients, you will need ginger, onion, lemon, and garlic. I will be using a half of an onion, but it all depends on you on how much onions you want to use. And I'll also be using lemon. I will use one half to blend and the other half to wash. And I will be using my ginger, but I thought this ginger was too much, so I split it in half. So I will be using that half of the ginger. And also I have about 5 medium-sized garlic cloves. I'm going to put everything in my blender and start blending. I'm going to squeeze that half of a lemon I was telling you guys. So I'm going to squeeze that juice inside, and I will be also adding olive oil. But olive oil, if you don't have olive oil, that's fine. You can use any type of oil of your choice. My catfish has been fully cleaned out, but I am gonna re-clean it just to make sure that it is properly cleaned. I just want to make sure that there is no foul taste to it, because sometimes if you don't fully clean your fish properly, you're gonna start tasting a bitter taste. So I added warm water in my sink, not hot water, but warm water to wash my fish. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove those whiskers that look like cat whiskers. That's what we call a catfish, I guess, because of the whiskers that stick out of the mouth. You can use a kitchen shear to remove it, but my kitchen scissors was broken, so I am using a knife to remove all that whisker. And for our fish, the inside usually has gray stuff like so. You see those gray stuff, and those gray stuff, if they are not removed, usually your fish will taste bitter. It will have a bitter taste to it. So make sure you remove that gray stuff in it. And over here, I'm just double checking also to see if there's any guts or anything left in there that will make my fish taste bitter. And I took the back of my knife. I'm just scraping like so, removing all that gooey stuff that makes our fish slimy. So I'm scraping it off by putting it in warm water and scraping it off like I'm doing. It usually removes the slime. But if you're like me, you want to make sure that your fish is fully cleaned, I will put clean water, and then I will squeeze half of that lemon that was left. I will squeeze it and just wash it for the second time, just to make sure that my fish is properly cleaned.
Today.
After cleaning it, I'm just making incisions like this so that my seasoning can really get inside my fish, so I'm just making incisions on both sides. Seasoning, I'll add this fish seasoning, paprika, white pepper, and nutmeg. But you're also, like I always say, this is just the basics. You can always add any type of seasoning you want. You can always, do it your own way. This is just the basics on how I do it. But of course, you are free to always do it the way you feel like. And when you're seasoning, don't forget about the inside of the fish. Make sure you also season the inside so you can have the flavors inside and outside. And I will be adding a little bit of salt as well, because that fish seasoning did have a little bit of salt, but not as much. So I thought I should add some more regular salt. Just seasoning it with the dry spices, we're going to go ahead and add our fresh spices that we blended. After seasoning my fish, I'm going to let it sit for an hour to marinate, just to make sure that all the flavors really get into the meat, so you can have a really nice flavor. So dealing with fish, it's a very it has a strong odor. So what I do after seasoning my fish, I always make sure that I wash my sink with soap and hot water to make sure that smell is gone, because if you don't do that, you will have a lingering smell and you don't want that. So I wash my sink with hot water and some dish soap. After washing it the first time, I'm going to re-wash it for the second time, but this time I'm going to spray some Comet spray. It has like a little bleach in it, so it will really help kill that smell. I'm going to spray and I'm going to scrub it again one more time, just to make sure that smell is fully gone. So while I was seasoning my fish, as y'all saw, I didn't have any gloves on. So my hands really is smelling like fish and seasoning. So I have to really get that odor out of my hands. I'm just using my Suave Bamboo and Jasmine fragrance. It really does smell good. So it helps remove that smell from my hands. Now I'm going to place my fish in the oven for about 20 minutes on 350 degrees, and make sure you rub some oil on your fish before placing it in the oven. As you can see, I didn't rub some oil, so I forgot. Then I started rubbing oil after it has actually cooked. But you can go ahead and rub your oil on top of your fish before you put it in the oven, so it can really stay juicy. I cooked my fish for about 20 to 25 minutes in the oven, and it still maintained its juiciness. So you don't want to leave your fish too long in the oven, where it's going to really dry up that juices for you. So guys, here is a result of my dinner tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope to see you on my next video.